second one.
All good. You're on your way.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And that doesn't ever even have anything to do with what you're bringing to the table right now and lending your voice in your ear. Again, just thank you, Danielle. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in, because you could have jumped on any live, but it's always appreciated that you decided to join here on this page, on this social media platform,
Right.
to now talk about what in the world is going on. What in the world is going on, Danielle? So we were already starting the conversation, and I reached out to you because I have a friend who I went to college with, and she's like a ride or die. It's like anytime I need her, and I'll say, look, it's time for us to get on here and really rally the people. She's a LCSW.
Mm-hmm.
And we were doing that all last week. And now it's just a matter of now revisiting this, talking about the latest that has been going on with the protests, the issues that are happening all over, you know, in terms of people just really not trying to, seemingly, allegedly, it seems like they're not trying to see what is really going on. And I really wanted to have this conversation, just a back and forth like we just started before the camera came on. So where are you with all of this? Like, what's your take on what's going on right now?
What is my take on what's going on right now? What I feel is what's going on right now is that it's nothing new. It's nothing new to us. It's nothing new that's it's nothing that is new. I feel like where we are right now, there's new aspects, and it's a new year, it's a new time period, but this is not new. This is a history repeat over and over and over and over and over again. So I feel like part of the process, or part of where we're at, is just the re-traumatization of what we're all experiencing on a consistent basis, but more so on our quiet daily basis. What's that phrase that Will Smith has going on? It's not that, you know, racism and violence is happening more often. It's just that it's being recorded. You know, it's not that this is our first time experiencing this. We're experiencing this all the time on a daily basis. These are moments that are being captured that, you know, we're speaking out and having outrage about, but there's so many others that haven't been, and that we're continuing to have documented. So I think we as a community, we're exhausted.
Yeah.
We're exhausted.
Yeah, we're exhausted. And I'm trying to, first of all, I want to let everybody know why you may see two screens of me, because I'm not going to fuss about Zoom, but for whatever reason, I could not get my video on. I didn't dial up, you know, I didn't dial up for nothing. So I'm trying to make sure that y'all can see me as well, so that we can have a conversation. So thank you again, Danielle. Look, let's just really just talk to the people.
Yeah.
You're right. We've seen this over and over and over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
And yet we're still here talking about it over and over and over and over again.
Right.
Why? Why are we talking about it still?
We're still talking about it because the change hasn't happened. The change is acknowledging and accepting the history for what it is. I think that's ultimately the underlying reason about why we keep having the problems that we have. It's that we have to go to the root to where the problems started from.
Okay.
It's what we are, it's at the foundation, is what that our country has been founded upon. And I've had this conversation a couple of times today and this week and last week, but it's just that our country was not founded upon people of color coming here as citizens. We were not brought to America as citizens. We were brought to America as slaves. The indigenous people that were brought here were wiped out, and some were enslaved. It's been founded upon a particular system that has been designed for a group of people to benefit off of us. And the premise and the foundation of that has not changed at all. We've had different names for it. We've had different terms for it. We've had, you know, different markings of it, but we haven't had that foundation has not changed. And I believe that, you know, while we've made some progresses, the system is still broken. The system has not been brought to a place of change to, and it's I think the issue why we will never why we were struggling, and I don't know if we'll ever reach that, is because they have to accept that the system will change and that it's going to change the foundation and how we structure everything. And change is hard. Change is hard, especially when you're a benefactor.
Right, right. When you're a benefactor.
Mhm.
What is that called? It's called privilege, right? Is that
Exactly.
is that the benefit of
Mhm.
trying to hold on for dear life and not trying to lose that? Because if that's
Mhm.
lost, then what? What does that mean? What does that look like?
Exactly. What does that look like? I don't know if that looks like capitalism. I don't know. It definitely yeah, it doesn't look like what it's looking like now. And there are those people that are privileged and are in power that refuse to have that to change because that requires their lives to change.
Right, right. So then I wanted to say thank you for that. And everyone, thank you. I see you, Darnell and Apostle Samuel and Marcel and Sarah and Michael. I thank you all for tuning in. Please, if you have any questions, any comments, put it in the
Oh yeah,
comments section.
definitely.
We're able to see you. So we want this to be a collective conversation.
Right.
We're talking about what in the world is going on in this country. It's like, you know, Danielle, everybody I had posted on my page earlier, I asked, you know, what is one feeling? If you couldn't describe your feeling, just use one word. And the collective was more so talking about how drained, how overwhelmed, how tired,
Right.
how at a loss for words.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really like, wow, some people are okay. I was okay today until I
Right.
saw something circulating
Right.
with the Instagram. And I don't know if y'all saw that because I'm not here to try to um, heighten your anger or heighten your frustration. But then at the same time, Danielle and I were talking about this. Is
Mhm.
we have to be okay with not being okay.
Right.
We actually have to be okay with, you know what? If we're angry, and we don't have to explain. We don't have to, you know, apologize. We don't have to uh, cower back. And I'm not calling anyone cowards, but we don't have to, you know, recede because we want to make sure that everyone is comfortable. It's not a comfortable situation.
It's not
And that's
comfortable.
just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And why is it not why is it not a comfortable situation? Because of what it is.
Right.
The racism.
Right.
I dare said it, Danielle, everybody. Tito, I did say racism.
Call a thing a thing. Call
Call
a
a
thing
thing
a
a
thing.
thing. Call a spade, call a thing a thing. Is that not right, Deacon? Deacon James Gregory? What would you call this? Put it in the comment section. What do you call what's going on today? Put it in the comment section for us so that we can really have a real conversation. I
Right.
was upset today. I was good all day. I was good all day long, because I wanted to be of support and service to my clients, to my community,
Mm.
to all of you on the social media platforms. I wanted to really, I was good today. It wasn't it was a decision and a choice to be okay until
Right.
I saw that daggone Instagram picture of, they call it now the George Floyd challenge.
Mm.
Has
Yeah.
anyone seen that? Put it in the comment section. Have y'all seen that yet? The George Floyd challenge. And what I usually do, I purposely post certain things and not post certain things. And I was tempted to post it on my page, but because I want the consistency of encouragement, of empowerment, of inspiration, I chose not to post that picture. But I tell you the truth, Danielle, I tell you the truth, everyone, that got me. I was upset.
Yeah.
And I found that I had to unpack it. This is all that we talked about, everybody. When y'all followed me all last month, this is all that I talked about in terms of identifying your feelings,
Right.
knowing what your feelings are really saying. How is it serving you? What is it really on a deeper level? What is it really saying for you? What's coming up? What emotions? You got to start identify. You got to start naming them. You know, it's one thing to say that we're sad, but what does sad mean to you? It's another thing to say that, you know, I'm crying. What are the tears saying to you? So I had to practice what I preach, and I had to sit in it. We talked about that the other day in my webinar about how to advance in adversity. And I had to sit in it. And then I realized what it was. I said, you know what? The blatant disrespect. I mean, it's deplorable disrespect, disregard of a human life, like just human life. And the fact that then I was able to bloom it to say, yeah, they don't care. Like we're still 3/5, that we're still
Exactly.
You know, and this is, at the time of this recording, this is 2020, but yet that mentality still exists, that spirit still exists. But I can keep going on and on. Look, I have Danielle Robinson, okay, licensed social worker, who is here as I wanted to just interview and just have this conversation. Danielle, please, what's your thoughts or take on that?
Right, exactly what you were saying. You know, when I seeing particular things like that, like George Floyd, or, you know, I can no longer watch these clips. I can no longer watch the killing of innocent people. I can't watch it. I can't literally stomach it. It's just that vicarious trauma over and over again. I can't watch it. It's just, like you were saying, it's the disregard for human life. The disregard for human life, and then how we continuously see how we are treated in this particular aspect with minimal complaints, minimal issues, minimal problems, minimal, like George Floyd responding for forgery, really, or for money that wasn't real. That's what he deserved that for. Like Michael Brown. Are all these sentences, this is what they're deserving of? But then we see people like, you know, the Charleston massacre. We see different institutions where men of color are not treated the same way. No, they're given a Coke and a McDonald's meal. They're handcuffed and able to get into prison without any issues. They're not losing their lives at the same rate in which we are treated. And part of me feels like it's again, I believe it's like founded in fear.
Yeah.
Because why is it so that people of color are always treated with such disparity? Why are we always treated harsher than any other group? And I really feel that it is based on fear. Necessarily why that fear is there, I believe it's a number of reasons. I believe it's part of the psychological, I think it's part of psychological warfare or psychological programming consistently. So there was a study once for, I believe, I think it was on Samoa, country of Samoa. There was a study once years ago. I think it was like, maybe let's say in the 80s or maybe 70s or 80s, before they had ever gotten television before. And, you know, people of Samoa, they tend to be naturally of larger size. You know, the women and men, they tend to be a bit more larger. And they got American television. They started to get American channels. And I don't know exactly the period, whether it was in 6 months or maybe to a year's time, but within a particular period, the people began to...
Sorry.
Hey, there you go.
Oh Lord.
All right. Thank you for your patience. Sorry about that. All right. Danielle, can you hear me? Everybody, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. So as you were saying about I tell you the truth, y'all. I tell you the truth. This was supposed to happen. I'm talking about as far as this video or this live, because of all of the daggone everything that has been happening, all the issues that have been happening for an hour. And that's exactly why we continue it on. So y'all can just disregard the technical difficulties and all the shenanigans. Danielle, you keep going.
Okay, all right, I got you. So no, I was just saying that within a particular time period, the people, particularly the women of Samoa, began to develop eating disorders. And they were watching, again, American television, which was, you think about in the 80s and 90s. I mean, right now we're being more inclusive of sizes, but then it was more so particular for a slim, thin type of woman was displayed on television. So within a short period of time, you had people that had always been comfortable in themselves, very prideful for who they were, for their size, for their culture, and then began to develop randomly eating disorders after getting American television, again, being shown consistently images of something that didn't look like themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I say, I think it's that psychological fear factor, wherever it comes from. There's a number of places we could say that it comes from, but the psychological picture that people of color are something to be afraid of. I think that is deep rooted. I think not just now within television, but I believe that is deep rooted within our culture about who we are and what we bring to the table and our personalities and our character. I think a lot of that, because we always feel, I think we as a collective, as Black Americans that have been here, I think that we always feel that we have to be more than, we always have to be better than, we always feel that we have to prove a stereotype wrong.
Yes, yes.
So we already know that for us, there's already this level that we feel that we are perceived as, so we have to prove ourselves that that's not us. So that's why I say, I think this thing is, it's deeper than that. But it's layers upon layers upon layers. But I think that's what everything is founded upon. It's founded upon creating that fear.
And thank you for sharing that, because I was looking at Agina. Thank you, Agina. Thank you, Lois, for tuning in. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And thank you for y'all patience. But thank you that we're here together to talk about what in the world is going on. Mm-hmm. And how do we use this opportunity to advance in adversity. And Agina has said, and she's all the way from Oregon, she said, I think it's also ignorance too.
Definitely.
What do you think about that, Danielle?
I think yes, partially ignorance, but I think chosen ignorance. I don't think it's subconscious ignorance. I do believe it's ignorance at its root, but ignorance that has a level to it where is the responsibility, or basically why has that ignorance not changed? Is it based on education? No, I don't think so. I think there are plenty of those that are ignorant, but they know better. And I think Jane Elliott talks about that a lot, because I personally used to think that, okay, there's just those that don't know or aren't familiar with what exactly is going on, but I don't think that's exactly true. I think that they are well aware of the privilege that they have. I believe many are aware of the privilege. And I like to quote Amanda Seales, because she says, of people that are Caucasian, she said there's two types of people. She said those that are white and those that happen to be white. Now, those that are white accept the privilege, benefit from the privilege, and then just go about their daily lives and choose not to say anything, choose not to make choose not to ruffle the waters at all, choose to be complacent in it because they benefit from it. And those that happen to be white are more so those that or what we consider is that those that acknowledge the privilege and acknowledge that it's not right, and then make a space for it and don't accept it. They speak up, they say something, they step in when they know that something is not okay. So I think that the ignorance is that you're either choosing to be complicit and not say anything, or you're choosing to speak up and not allow it to continue.
And that's a great point, because of the fact that, because these two types, so we already talked about this, y'all, the two types, those who happen to be and those who are, and the fact that with those who are and know about their privilege, the benefits that they get from that. It's, the question can be, well, why in the world would they want to give that up if they're benefiting, even though it's at the cost, even though it's at the cost of a life, and not just a life, lives.
Right.
And that's where we start to become ignorant. That's when, and I'm not talking about we, I'm talking about, we know who they are, the choice of being ignorant.
Right.
You know, I posted the other day, I said, you know what? Ignorance for you might be bliss, but your ignorance for me is fatal.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So you pretending and acting as if, oh, racism doesn't exist. Oh my God, y'all. So I'm trying to maintain, not trying to maintain, I'm being funny. Y'all know how I try to, you know, be comical. And I'm with someone who loves to laugh. So it's, you know, you got a good pair here.
Yes.
But it's like the stuff that I've seen on social media. So not just the thing that made me mad or upset, but just the comments. Because like we were talking about, Danielle, it's like everybody, the tension is so high, the emotions are so high. And from a psychological standpoint, we know in our profession that, okay, people they're not really in touch with their emotions.
Right.
And so they're all over the place. And then coupled with the tension that's going on because people are still trying to act as if or not talk about it or not call it so quickly. Why is it, you know, why is it really racism? Or, you know, to me, it, you know, the answer is, and so I started looking at people's posts, and I was trolling on quite a few and deciding if I wanted to say something or not say something. Sometimes I did, and sometimes I did not. But I saw this one, and so this Caucasian American man, I see sometimes people would post, they will screenshot and post what's been said in the dialogue.
Uh-huh.
And I was about to do that. I thought about it, rather, I wasn't about to, but I thought about that because I had talked to the person, we were back and forth. And, you know, I said some things. I said some nice things, y'all, please. I said some nice things. I didn't go off. I didn't cuss them out or anything like that. I really wanted to get an objective ear, like, or I wanted to yield objectivity. I wanted to see how objective that person could be. And I needed to also make sure that I was objective enough to find out what's your perspective or what's your view with all of this.
Yeah.
And so at the time, you know, it was like, well, a lot of bad apples, you know, it's just a few bad apples that just ruins the whole bunch. It's not all cops, you know, not all white people are racist. And then I said, you know what, you're missing it. And we just want y'all to take ownership. Just own your ish.
Yes.
That's the only secondhand cussing I'm going to do today, y'all. That's the only secondhand cussing I'm going to do today. I think I may start cussing. So just up it. So the point is, at the end, he felt that I was calling him racist. He's like, so are you saying that I'm racist? You know, and not once did I call him racist at all.
Right.
But I told him, like, you know, if I wanted to call you, if I was going to call it to it, I would have called you that, dear. However, I just really wanted to find out. I said, you know, because you're just not answering the question. So from time to time, I'll see his post, and he may see this video, which that's fine. And I said, you know what? No, I saw his video, or I'm sorry, his post, and he was sharing about, you know, I grew up poor, and you know, my family was, you know, I think their family was on welfare, and you know, he had it hard with the law too. And we shouldn't focus on, it should be about black and white, but you know, all humans matter. And you know, and I should understand, or we should understand, that the real slavery that's going on is the human trafficking. You know, I'm just as passionate about, or are we just as passionate about that as we are with all this, we call it racism. I just think that we're making a big deal, and it's all controlled. And y'all. So why did I bring that up? I brought that up to say that please do not be shocked or surprised at responses, because all of that is just deflection, because
Exactly.
they don't want to feel uncomfortable.
Responsible.
No one wants to feel uncomfortable. No one wants to be in pain. No one wants to suffer. It's just that at the same time, how do we expect for anyone who has not walked in our shoes to get it and understand? How?
Right.
You know, we can ask them to empathize, but if they haven't been in our shoes like that, then how do we expect them to be? So you're going to see, so I say all that to say that you're going to see people that's going to deflect. You're going to see people who are going to act as if, and like we're making it a big deal out of nothing. You know, it's just an isolated incident, when this has been stirring up for 400 plus years, you know, and now we're just in an era where we're like, wow, really, we're still going through this? We're still going through this?
Yeah.
But I tell you the truth, it's not even about me being hopeful. For some reason, Danielle, for some reason, everyone, I just feel like this may be the end. Meaning, like, I think that we're at the tail end when it comes to racism. I think that looking at these Gen Zers out there protesting,
Yes.
you know, like they're out there.
Yes.
Those 20-year-olds, those 25, 25-year-olds I've seen, you know, out there protesting.
Bold.
One more thing, and then Daniel, you have the floor. What was interesting is there's something that's called a parallel process. Okay, there's something that's called projection. And what I found that we were doing as people of color, Black folks, we were focused on the looting and the rioting, right? And we were criticizing. I took it as if we were criticizing the young people. And we were not paying attention, or we seem to have deflected as well on what was the whole point. How do we tell people how to grieve, or who feel so oppressed? We all posted Dr. Martin Luther King's
right,
about how, you know, the voice of the unheard. And yet we still kept criticizing. So my comeback, my clapback was, I'll leave it there. My clapback was, because I'm notorious for clapbacking, right? Were the following. One, how in the world are we even saying anything in the comforts of our own home, criticizing them about the fact that they're out there doing their thing?
Right.
Two, how is it that, what leadership? Like, okay, they're now just coming out of the, you know, out of their homes. They're taking advantage because they've been cooped up in the house for so long, and they're like, okay, look, I just want to get out and raise my voice at a young age. But where was the leadership? We're asking about these young people, not to dismiss, because first of all, it took leadership for them to even decide whether they just want to get out the house, whether they were just tired of being in the house for so long, whether it was, you know, and again, we had to, and it almost may sound like a contradiction, I'm not sure, but almost as if like, all right, we're focused on the looting and the rioting, because we have to address that too. But we're not focused on the fact that they still went out there. They're still raising their voices.
Right.
I was like, you know, I just felt like it was not fair to look at and focus on the negative, because that's just human nature. We need to catch that and look at what they are doing in the name of, and the fact that we weren't there in their shoes like that. Even though we're Black, even though we're people of color, and we feel them. But that's the other thing, though. It's like we weren't there in the experience with them.
Yeah.
For those who were saying something in the comfort of their home, watching it all. Right. So Danielle, what's your thoughts to any of that?
Oh, you said so much right there. So I just want to go back to the bad apples real quick. I have to go back to the bad apples, and I want to address these tropes, the bad apples, the I don't see color, the I have Black friends, the I'm not a racist. I want to address all these tropes. These all fall under one thing, and that is not taking accountability, refusing to see a thing. Because if you see something, you acknowledge it, you give it a name, then you have to address it. And once you address it, you have to make some sort of change or acknowledging of it. And I think that is the bigger picture, is that we don't acknowledge, American culture does not acknowledge seriously the impact the history of slavery has had upon us. I mean, you know, yes, people don't, we see all these slave movies come out all the time, okay? We see that, but we do not acknowledge the impact. Can I just read something real quick? I feel compelled. I just need to read something really quick because this really ties into what we're talking about. I just want to pull this up really quickly because it's talking about the foundation I'm talking about. So really briefly, I'm just going to read this. And this is from the Willie Lynch letters. Now, I don't know if everybody is familiar with Willie Lynch, but he was a man of the James River colony in Virginia back in 1712. He was a British slave owner in the West Indies. He was invited to the colony of Virginia to teach his methods to slave owners there. And that's Willie Lynch. His name is what became of lynching Black people. He was, you know, one of the notorious, so that was part of his methodology. So I just really briefly just go over this one part of this letter. It says, Black slaves have received their indoctrination, shall carry on and will become self-refueling and self-generating for hundreds of years and maybe thousands. Don't forget, you must pitch the old Black male versus the young Black male, and the young Black male against the old Black male. You must use the dark-skinned slaves versus the light-skinned slaves, the light-skinned slaves versus the dark-skinned slaves. You must use the female versus the male, and the male versus the female. You must also have your white servants, overseers distrust all Blacks. It is necessary that your slaves trust and depend on us. They must love, respect, trust only us. Gentlemen, these kits are your keys to control. Use them. Have your wives and children use them. Never miss an opportunity. If used intensely for 1 year, the slaves themselves will remain perpetually distrustful of each other. Now, I just want to preface that because I think what I was just talking about with foundation, about, you know, why this fear, I think, is generated. I think it's very important just to continuously acknowledge where this did come from, because we're like, why do we keep experiencing this? Why does this keep happening again? This is a foundation that things have been built on over time. Willie Lynch, Jim Crow, the school to prison pipeline. These things were just mounted on, we just given a different name, but it's the same systems that keep perpetuating. So when we talk about acknowledging slavery, acknowledging all the impacts, the psychological trauma, the mental trauma, the history, it's acknowledging all those things that it has done. And when we acknowledge, because yes, slavery has been acknowledged a couple times in histories and presidents, but it has not been acknowledged to the degree that the Holocaust has. We have Holocaust monuments all over the US, everywhere. But we only have a few Black museums that actually give contribution and visual images on the impact that it really has had on us as a people, as generations and generations, and how this has impacted our families and how this has impacted our social and economic structure. So the acknowledgement of, oh, it's, you know, few bad apples, we don't see color. No, we do need to see it. You see color because you see them grays. You know, we see color, and there's nothing wrong with acknowledging it. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging, no, I want you to see color. I want you to see me, and I want you to see your history.
Yes.
I want you to see it, I want you to acknowledge it, and then I want you to fix it. But when we don't see it, when we say, I don't see it, when we push past it, when we say, I have this, I have that, no, don't justify it. I need you to see you, I need you to see me, and I need us to work together. Ooh,
all right.
I had to get that. Okay, one more thing. I need to address one more thing.
Okay.
Let's go back to the looting. Okay, so sorry, I had to stuck right there. But let's go back to the looting. So, right, so we're talking about the looting, we're talking about the problems. I mean, this is not the first time we have seen riots. This is the 30th year anniversary of Rodney King. This is not the first time that this has happened, right? This is not. but we're not fixing anything about it. We're not addressing this problem to make sure that Blacks are compensated, Blacks are treated properly. I mean, I was mentioning young neighbors of mine downstairs, and they were just like, he made a good point. He said it would cause special laws to be made for us, so we are protected like an endangered species. Because you can't be killing a bald eagle, but it's okay to kill Blacks while he's jogging down the street for citizens' arrest. We would need special laws put in place for us.
Yes.
Because we have not been regarded as people.
Yes.
Oh Lord. So anyway, so I wanted to get back to that looting part, because that reminded me, that just gave me a flashback of oh my goodness, I can't even think of the name of it that happened. What was the name? Somebody remind me the name of the hurricane that happened in Louisiana.
Wow. I got you. Hurricane Katrina.
Katrina, thank you so much. Okay, sorry.
Mhm.
So Katrina, I don't want to hear anything about looting, honestly, because I remember when Kanye said George Bush doesn't care about Black people. But I remember in the documentary I was watching, because I didn't even see that part, they were condemning Louisiana. They were condemning the people of Louisiana for looting in the midst of Hurricane Katrina, where there was no access to food, there was no running water, there was no anything. They were going in for survival, but they were like, oh, they're bad people, they were looting, they were causing problems. And on the other side of the bridge, I guess, where people actually had access to the bridge, and they were trying to go on the other side, for relief, because they're trying to get out. Do you know that there were people on the other side of the bridge that were there waiting with shotguns and told them to go back? I cannot. So looting, nah, I'm not even gonna go there. I'm not even going there. You have the people that are enraged, and then
Yes.
another set of people that refuse to do anything about it.
Yes.
So fix it.
Oh, there you go. Thank you, Janice. Hey, Janice, how you doing? She was like, Katrina. Thank you so much, Janice. How you doing? Always Texas. So, Katrina, if you want to jump onto this conversation, let me know, because I can add you in it. So, you have your spot here. But everyone, Dr. Sarah Langley with my special guest, Danielle Robinson, licensed social worker, and we are talking about what in the world is going on. I actually had to secondhand cuss Danielle. I changed the name of it, of the title. I said, first I said, what's going on? And then I decided to put what's ... no, not ... like stars, squiggly, dollar sign, going on. Advancing in adversity, because this is where we do need to now know how to advance in adversity. And the reason why I feel some type of way is, since I'm analytical and scientific based, and my mind is just wired that way. I always believe that things can cancel itself out, and there is no base or grounds for an argument unless all things are equal.
Yeah.
So what am I saying, everyone? I don't want to hear about the looting and the rioting when so many grossly, so many daggone factors that cancels out what we saw. What do I mean? What does Dr. Sarah, what do you mean? I'm going to tell you.
Please.
The fact that we've seen this dude in look like a daggone scuba diving suit with an umbrella in his hand, with a full gas, a mask, whatever.
Right.
Who was at the AutoZone in Minneapolis? He's breaking the windows.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, y'all, he was white. Oh, by the way, it was traced that he was a cop, and people were trying to stop him. Black folks were trying to stop him. Like, what are you doing, man? Or let's get even deeper. We've seen some pictures of some Caucasian Americans. So, the pictures that were put all over the social media and media of Black folks looting and rioting.
Yeah.
But I had yet to see on those same social media and media platforms of some of them also looting and running out with lamps, all hugged up on them, or, clothes that they were carrying. As a matter of fact, when it was actually reported, I don't know, it was MSNBC or whichever, I'm not sure what broadcast it was on, but someone had a video of a white woman, it was at night, carrying a bag, like she had 2 bags of clothes. And so the commentary, the newscaster was like, you know what, I'm not sure if I hope that she's not stealing, because, maybe she's an employee of the place. Maybe, I sure hope that she's an employee of the place. And the person who said that and everybody else who watched it very well know that that person was stealing, bags of stuff. But right. Let it be us, with the, Foot Locker and things like that.
Okay.
And getting the shoes, or Target and raiding Target and things like that.
Right.
Why are you destroying your own community? Oh, well, really, are we? Because the other thing is they found all these bricks aligned, beautifully stacked and stocked and then also had like the wood to help to keep or help to start fires, or bricks to use to throw and break the windows of different various department stores. Right. All of that was just beautifully laid out for the rioters to go ahead and go for broke.
Right.
And yet we still talk about, well, why? Now, am I saying that has anything to do with, or is it still okay to riot and to burn your stuff and all that? No. At the same time, though, wow, y'all.
Right.
Is it really us that's really starting stuff? Why is it set up? Why is it instigated? Why is it provoked? Why?
Right.
Why? But yet it's just to say, and then because we do see it and we make everybody else, make them see it, they still have something to say. That's the issue. It's like, we can give you all the pictures in the world. We can have the body cams. They can have the body cams. They can have the pictures. They can have the video. And yet the sad thing is that people can still get off. The cops can still get off.
Right.
Even with all the evidence stacked up against them. Because why? Like you said, Danielle, because the laws were not written for us.
Right.
And that, as we talk about solutions, because people were like, well, what are the solutions? Oh, I'm going to give you a couple. One solution is we need to come to know the laws and the policies. I was at a big major conference a few years ago, let's say 3 or 4 years ago. And I decided to sit in one of their town hall meetings at that conference. Mm-hmm. And I remember the speaker had talked about how it was about something totally different from what we're talking about, but it kind of resonated, and I think it bears to repeat. She was like, you know what? The issue is that we don't know the laws. And what we have to do is know the law of that particular policy, find out what's written in there and what's hidden in it. And that is where you start. So now it makes me think about how with the CARES Act, with the whole trillions of dollars that were, provided for us Americans who have lost their jobs and are that are unemployed, and how it was held up because it was, it was said the Democrats were citing the Republicans for writing things in the policy that was going to benefit them.
Yeah, right.
So now we see how these policies and these laws, we all have said that. I've heard it so many times how they're not written for us. We kept saying it. We keep saying it, but we're not listening.
Right.
We're not listening to ourselves. So if that's the case, then that's where we attack. Are those laws? It's time for it to demand those laws to be rewritten, to now invite us, as opposed to just saying and stopping short and saying, well, the laws aren't written for us. The laws aren't written for us. Okay, it's time for them to be written for us as well. It's time for the laws to change, because my last point, and Danielle and everybody, y'all can jump in as we're wrapping it up, because I think that we definitely have to continue this conversation. Yeah. The fact that with these laws, and we're now saying and acknowledging that the laws need to be written. If y'all president can,
Put that on
I'm not,
don't put that on our
I'm
plate.
not claiming
Don't put
I'm
that
not
on our plate. Don't put that on our plate.
your president has the audacity and the gall to suggest, this is what I read. Now, don't come for me as far as like, did I research it? Because I'm the queen of receipts. Okay, I'm the type of person that I save everything. I take every screenshot. Okay, y'all might call me a hoarder. I have stuff that I save everything. Okay, I journal. I got years of books on me, so y'all can come for me. Okay, because I will pull receipts up. So don't make me find information, and probably I will. Y'all know me. I probably will go ahead and post it. But I could have sworn I saw something I read in one of the magazines saying that he was suggesting to want to change the Constitution and to also want to definitely expunge the whole, he got impeached, to want to have that off his record.
Of course he does, yeah.
But the point is that, okay, he can do that, or to even suggest, like the suggestion of perhaps that he could actually rewrite even the Constitution to fit him. Now, I don't know how true that is, but that's something that cannot be, come on, we can't put it past him.
Right.
You know? So my point is that if there is a possibility for the daggone Constitution, come on, then I think that it may be possible for us to consider to change these laws to include everyone.
Definitely.
What's your thoughts? And thank you, Janice. She said awesome discussion. Thank you. So final thoughts, or Danielle, what's your thoughts and feelings to that?
Okay, couple of thoughts. Oh, a couple of people did mention, I don't know if the conversation is public. I did get a message from a few people and says I can't comment. So I don't know if it
they should be able to.
Okay, I don't know. I got the notice, so I just figured I'd
okay.
put it out. But well, one thing I do want to just address particularly is that yeah, I completely agree that the laws have to change, and that we have to be more responsible about who we are putting in places of office and places of policy. We have to be more selective, and we personally have to be more active. And I'm gonna just throw in there, since we are the country of crime television, I just have to say this, this is my little disclaimer, because I do appreciate this. I do participate in this myself. But while we're talking about policy, I do need us, and when I say us, I mean all of us. I need for us to participate in jury duty. I'm just gonna put that out there, because far too many of us like to skip jury duty, and that is important for us to do, okay? Because we need, again, like we're talking about policy, we need ourselves in those seats to make that change. So when things are coming up, when people are going for juries, I need for us to stop finding excuses about how we can get out of jury duty. I'm gonna need y'all to sit down. I'm gonna need y'all to listen, and I'm gonna need you all to place your opinion in there so we can make that happen. Now, that's just my little disclaimer, okay? Because we like to watch crime TV. I love a little law and order myself, but we need to be at the seat to make the changes. We have to. Okay, that's one. Okay. Then about your president, I'm gonna need you to stop putting that on the rest of us. I'm gonna need you to keep that's not on our plate, okay? But I do want to remark just on something that is not necessarily as recent as right now, but I just want to talk about, or just highlight really quick, that our president currently is also in line with the current rhetoric that is worldwide. So while this issue of race, this issue of policy, this issue of our history, this is prevalent, but it's not just issues with us. Because I know if everybody recalls, but remember about like a couple of years ago when we were dealing with all the issues with Syria? And the constant rhetoric is very similar that has been happening across the world, in that this divisiveness that is working, like this divisiveness of people, this divisiveness of culture. I've noticed that, I think I was really started paying attention to it back in Brexit, when, you know, the UK was voting to separate themselves, right, from the European Union.
Yes.
This rhetoric that he is giving us right now, this racist rhetoric that President Trump is giving us right now, is the same rhetoric that I've heard from Boris Johnson from the UK. It's the same racist rhetoric that I've heard from Putin. It's the same racist rhetoric I've heard from the Brazilian president, Bolsonaro. The same one that I've heard from North Korea, the same one that I've heard from the Philippines. It's kind of concerning to me that, yes, this is happening here, but this type of this culture, this zeitgeist that's going on right now that is so divisive, it is one language that is being spoken in multiple areas. And I think it's important just for us to highlight that in all areas that has to be changed and it has to be addressed, because when the Syrians were fleeing and they were getting blocked with like similar aspects of like, no, you can't come here, there's out, and there's this racist rhetoric that just kept going on. I'm like, does anybody hear? The world is saying something all on the same platform. But just in regards to the policies, we have to be at the seat. We have to be at the seat to make the changes, period. We have to be at the seat to make the changes, and we have to be aware. We can't just not be voting. We have to vote. We have to be present to make the change. And so with this looting and what's going on right now, particularly, this has to happen. This has to happen. This pressure has to happen. It has to happen for this change to take place. We have to hold accountability to things that are not right by these means. It's necessary.
You touched something right there, and thank you, Danielle, for making those points. What came to mind was, it was almost like, wow, bloodshed have to happen. It's almost like it's a fight to the death. But understand that when death happens, life does begin.
Right.
When death happens, life does begin.
Yeah.
And when something ends, something does begin. And it's almost like that. It's like, it is unfortunate. I mean, talking about the pandemic and how over 100,000 lives lost due to the complications of COVID in America. The fact that now with all the racism, the police brutality, and all of this has already been as part of the policies. It's like it's part of the laws.
Right. Yeah.
And yes, it is so sad that people have lost their lives.
Yeah.
And that is why we have to be in position to not let their lives be in vain, their death be in vain. It's like, this is where we have to raise our voices, speak our voices, and not even fall back. This is going to address all the Black folks, because, for fairness, y'all, fairness purposes, we need to raise our voices and stop talking about the things that we've done back 10 years ago. I've been talking about this for 10 years. I've been talking about, what we need to do to prevent racism for 10 years. And now all of a sudden everybody wants to, as she sips her tea, like, or her water. It's like, oh, now we have to, now everybody wants to be an activist now, but nobody was listening to me. I was
there. I was on the front lines. I marched with King.
Right. And they're like, they were born in 1979. But it's like, the point is, respectfully, so what?
Right. We're
not talking about 1963, or we're not talking about 1983. We're talking about 2020. So the point is that if you had all that goal and all that gumption, or whatever you call it, you had all of that for you to do that then. All right, so let's talk about today. Be present today. Here is the platform now. Now perhaps you may see a result, because the 10 years that you were saying you were doing stuff, okay, well, and we still here talk about this. So what did you do? And I'm not trying to clap, but I guess I am trying to clap back.
Sometimes it calls for a clap and a cluck. I'm just
because we need to get focused.
Right.
And I talked about that this morning, everybody. We need to get focused. Stay focused. Stop distracting and deflecting and parallel processing. What is being on us, and now we're putting it on each other. Stay focused.
Right.
Stop. Just
Right.
stop with what was and what we should have done. We're asking for solutions.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
people don't want to hear it. Negroes don't want to do anything. You know what? And it's amazing, Danielle, it's amazing, everyone, how it's very interesting how we will give this impression in our mind. We want to believe that we're all together, we all unified. And that's only by word. Because by deed, it's a different story. By action, it's a different story. So we need to admit that. Because again, this is the whole problem too. No one wants to admit their stuff. No one wants to own their stuff. No one wants to have accountability for their stuff. And that's why we're having this conversation today. So I just want to encourage you to stay focused, get focused, recenter, regroup, catch yourself, get conscious, be present. Whatever you've done, okay, maybe it was, and you didn't see the results you were looking for, or you feel like you did your contribution because you were out there risking your life and, about to get shot and all this stuff. It's not even about comparison. So stop that too. Stop. Yeah. It's not about comparison. My contribution here by raising my voice and doing this stuff is my contribution towards making a change.
Right.
So y'all look at y'all contribution, but don't you dare compare and put yourself down or discount and discredit, because again, that's a parallel process. We already have been discounted. We already been discredited. We already have been diminished. We don't need to do that to each other.
Right.
Just stop that.
Yeah.
So you know it's serious because, we always say from people from Philly, when we like pounding our hands,
go time.
It's serious.
And to that point, real quick, a friend of mine, Jarrell, he commented, he said he couldn't get in the comments, but he said, as far as the looting goes, it's easy to see the wrong in it and condemn people, but you have to always remember that not all the people fight battles the same way that you do. Also, when people are more outraged by looting than a person losing their life, they are basically valuing money over a human being. And that has happened time and time again with Black folk.
Very, very good. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Janice was like, great point. Agina had responded to your point about the jury duty. She said, yes, jury duty is critical.
Yes, girl. Tell them, boo. Tell them. Get that letter, you go in. You report in.
So look, y'all, just make sure that y'all just regroup, recenter, focus. Let's stop comparing who's doing what. Let's stop looking at everybody else. Look about what you're doing. Don't diminish or discount or discredit anyone. Don't just diminish, discount, or discredit yourself. You're doing your part. And if you're not, and you're like, wow, I want to do so much, but what can I do? Do this. Do what we're doing. Get on your phone. Get on your camera. Get on your computer. Stay what's on your mind. If you're camera shy, then you can turn off the video. If you're still like, oh, I can't do a lot, that's fine. You can blog, you can post, you can share. It's okay. You know what? You can share this. Share it to your platforms. That's your contribution as well. Because so many people need to hear this kind of conversation. And we're just starting. This is like inaugural. We're just starting this series. Okay, all month long. I'm going to talk to Danielle. Did y'all like Danielle? Did y'all feel like she was, a great contributor? Should we have her back so that we can now really carry on this conversation and really share some great tips on how to help you to advance in adversity? We're not talking about advancing through it, driving past it, because that's the problem. We don't learn trying to always jump ahead and not learn in the process. We need to now, at the end of the day, ask ourselves, what are we learning from this? How is this serving us? Yes. How is this serving us? So then we get the information, the inspiration, the ideas on what to do. That's how the solutions come. The solutions aren't going to come to ourselves if we're so focused on anything and everything else, if we're distracted, if we're deflecting. Be in your emotions, be in your feelings. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not be okay. Is that not right, Danielle? Is it okay not to be okay?
No, that's fact. That is facts. It is okay to not be okay. It is all right. And you can just, because sometimes it feels uncomfortable, right? Because we want to be like, no, I'm calm, I'm cool, I'm centered. But no, it is okay to be not all right. It's okay to be outraged. It's okay to feel uncomfortable. And just to what you were just saying, Dr. Langley, and in the words of Riri, tell your friends to pull up. Those that don't look like you, those that are white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever else, tell them to pull up. They like breaking bread with you. They like hanging with you. They think you're cool. If this is your problem, it's their problem too. It's their
That's
problem
good.
too. Even if your point is just talking to a friend that doesn't understand what's going on, just express your feelings. It's important for others to know how this impacts you, as it may not impact them the same way. It's important for that dialogue. So the dialogue, if you can't do anything else, have the dialogue with somebody else and let them know where you're coming from. I be talking to my coworker all the time. I'm like, let's talk about this. This is not okay, sir. This is not all right. But it's important for them to know, and if, like you said, like she was saying, if they feel that you're important, if they care about you, they need to pull up too. This is part of their struggle. Period.
That's
Period.
good.
Mhm.
That's good. That's good. As a matter of fact, I have plenty of white friends who are, they are looking to be allies with us.
Mm.
Like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. What can I do? How can I, what's my part? What kind I apologize for my privilege. I apologize for my whiteness. And then it gets to a point that some of my white friends, y'all, just want to put this out there, are being overly sympathetic, and to the point that now you're taking on all of America. Like, well, it's my fault. You didn't pick your color.
Right.
So you don't have to take on the whole collective of racism.
Just acknowledge it and make space.
Right.
Acknowledge
Exactly.
it, make space.
Just acknowledge it, make space. Acknowledge it, make space. Have the dialogue, have the conversation. Feel uncomfortable. We always run away from the feelings of discomfort, of pain and suffering. Again, I get it, why I understand why we do. Nevertheless, that's where our answers lie. I want to really leave this quote with you, that in every difficulty, find opportunity in every difficulty, not try to find difficulty in every opportunity. So try to find opportunity in every difficulty, as opposed to trying to find difficulty in every opportunity. Try to find opportunity in every difficulty. So what is the opportunity in this difficult situation? The opportunity to speak your voice, opportunity to dialogue, the opportunity to acknowledge, to make space, the opportunity to own, to own, and to take ownership, and to acknowledge what is really there in your face.
Right.
To the opportunity to make change, real change, final change, actual change now.
Right.
It's just time. It's time. It is set. Like Danielle said, it had to happen. We were already going there. It had to happen, but pretty much it was already going there. It was already building up from years and years and years and years and years and years, like Lois said. It's been going on for years and years and years and years and years and years and years. Right. So it's time. It's time to take the Band-Aid off. It's time to go in deep into the wound. Right. And it's time to work on it and operate it for healing to finally happen, to bring this to a close. So be of good cheer, everyone. Be of good courage. Please stop looking at it from a negative standpoint and doom and gloom. Right. Don't say, well, people's not going to go out to the polls tomorrow anyway. It's going to still be 50. We're going to get what we keep speaking and thinking. Stop. Speak and see what you want to see happen. Right. I tell you the truth, I haven't been outside since March 8th. I've been in this house. I wasn't going nowhere. I was sheltered in place, and I was enjoying it and loving it. And it's funny. It's ironic because I love to travel. I love the outdoors. I just love freedom and liberation. Okay. And I just enjoyed being in the house because of the fact that I'm always traveling. I'm always outside. I was enjoying the Alicia Keys movement. I loved not having makeup on. I loved it not having these lashes on. I enjoyed being, okay?
I know that's right.
I could keep going, if I really want to talk about like my clothes and attire, what I had on and what I did not have on. I'm not gonna go there tonight. Okay. I'm glad that when I stood up, I had some tights on today. Thank God I got tights on today. So, anyway, and then we probably get a lot of shares for that, right?
Right. Like,
controversial. But I'm going out there 7 o'clock in the morning, by 6:30 in the morning. I will be out there in the polls tomorrow morning. I certainly will. I
Right.
certainly, I got my mask ready and everything. I'm going out there
Yeah.
because my vote will matter. Stop saying
Yeah.
that the votes don't matter and it's rigged.
No, they matter.
That's not the focus and the point. The point is that you
Right.
did something.
Right.
You have done something. You've done your part.
Mm-hmm.
You've done your part. So just do your part. No matter how it goes, you're gonna have a good conscience in the end that you've done your part. So it can't be said that you didn't, because let's say that our votes really do matter. Let's say that it actually does make a difference. Start thinking that way. Start thinking that way. So everybody, thank you for your time. I think that we need to perhaps bring Danielle. Who wants Danielle Robinson, LSW, to come back on the platform? Hopefully she will want to. Oh goodness, Dani, hey, how you doing? She said that's good. Gina says so insightful. Appreciated both of your insights, and she lives in the Oregon area.
Hey.
So everybody, thank you so much. Any final thoughts, Danielle? Thank you to your people, your audience for tuning in. And I think that we are going to do a part 2. We're actually going to do the whole series. I know that, but we're going to talk about it and see how we can work it out so that we can be of support to you, that we can be available to you for both, clinicians, so that we can really be of support to you, to help you to manage your feelings, to cope, to answer questions, to have the dialogue, and to really see how we can all help each other advance in diversity.
Right. Definitely. Definitely. I just want to say thank you for everybody for having me today. It was good to release with you all. I mean, I think that's what, and being not okay, because I don't necessarily feel okay, but it feels good that well, I can say what I do want to leave on is right now, in the conversation I was having with my neighbors, my young neighbors, is that right now, though these are difficult times, it's re-traumatizing times, I can also say that I feel more supported as a group of as a community, not just us, but as our white brothers and sisters, Asians, Hispanics, Latino, everybody. I feel more supported right now. I feel like more people are vocal, more people are willing to speak out now than I felt in the midst of Trayvon Martin. I feel like and I don't know if the platform has changed. I don't know if, if more people are just willing, I don't know, but I can say that I see a lot more unity in regards to this than I have seen before, particularly, and I feel more encouraged as we're going to proceed forward with this, because it's not okay. Change has to happen. Change is going to come, one way or another.
One way or the other. So yes, thank you. That was really good. That we just all, at the end of the day, let's all come together.
Yeah.
And Black folks, let's receive our white brothers and sisters who want to help. We don't have to question every single thing and every single motive. Oh, they just feel sympathetic. Oh, they just, come on. The fact is that they want to help. Okay. Right. So let's just go ahead and bring them on, invite them in.
Mm-hmm. So they can hold their counterparts accountable.
Right. They can know how to hold their counterparts accountable, and to acknowledge the fact that they are looking to do something, So let's not look at it from a negative standpoint. Let's look at it from a positive. We do have people who are reaching out, want to be an ally.
Right.
The more the merrier. So then we can all come together on how to advance in this. So see it from a different perspective, a different place. Shift your mindset and look at exactly what you want to see happen. So we can go on and on and on, but I definitely want to make sure we have great content. I know, right? Because now I'm getting sleepy. Y'all, for those who know me and follow me, y'all know I go to bed at 7 p.m. Well, I used to until last month doing, I'm not complaining. I loved and enjoyed every moment of it, of, talking about overcoming during and after the pandemic. I just didn't know that I was going to now be called to do advancing in adversity all month long now. And it's all good, praise the Lord, because apparently it's needed. And I'm just honored and privileged to be a part of this conversation and to be of support. So yes, we will see y'all soon. Keep posted, look out for the listings and when we are showing up, and the great lineup that we're going to have to really talk about how to advance in adversity. So Danielle, thank you so much. You are amazing. You are amazing. And you keep on keeping on with the fight over there where you are. Looking forward to having and partnering with you and
Definitely.
the future conversations. And everybody, as always, thank you so much for tuning in, because you could have tuned anywhere, but you decided to tune in with us. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your ear. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for just being who you are and not being okay.
Hmm.
And thank you for what you are doing and how we all going to come advance in this adversity together. All right,
Definitely.
y'all have a great evening, great day, great afternoon, wherever you are.
Wherever you are in the world.
Y'all take care.
Bye, guys.